Hi Year 7, Mr. Tapley here for your next lesson of Year 7 Humanities. This lesson we are looking at developing our understanding of religion and mythology in the history of ancient Greece. So we're looking at the gods and goddesses of ancient Greece, their explanation for how the world was created. Success criteria is to explain the significance of religion and mythology in ancient Greece. So why was it important to them, to their lives? Why is it important to us? What can we learn from ancient Greece religion about the ancient Greece people? And we'll look at that by highlighting the specific gods and goddesses of ancient Greece. So you guys are going to have a little inquiry research activity where you get to select one of the major gods or goddesses and do a bit of research on who they were, what they did, etc. So, in ancient history, people have attempted to understand and explain the creation of the world through something we call creation myths. So a myth is a story. It's not generally factually correct. There may be some elements of truth in there, but it's a story, a tale, a legend. So through these creation myths, ancient societies like the Greeks, like the Egyptians, the Romans, you can look at the ancient Australians. They've all got creation myths, and they're all connected to their religion and their culture. For example, in ancient Australia, the indigenous people believed in the dreaming. So we looked at the dreaming, their religious beliefs, spiritual beliefs about how the land was created. They believed that the dreaming was responsible for the creation of life. In ancient Greece, they also had a creation myth, and they believed that their lives were controlled by the gods and goddesses who lived on Mount Olympus, which is an actual mountain in Greece. The different gods and goddesses were all responsible for a different part of life. So, for example, Ares was the god of war, Poseidon was the god of the sea, god of the oceans, and any successes or failures in life were contributed to kindness or anger of these religious idols. So, oh cool, I grew a lot of food in the summer. Excellent, I've pleased the gods. Or, oh no, a hurricane has destroyed my house. Clearly I've angered the gods. As such, religion was very important to the people of ancient Greece because every aspect of their life could connect to one of these specific gods or goddesses in ancient Greece religion. Now, in some religions and some spiritual beliefs, there is a single, what we call a religious text or a book. So in Christianity and Catholicism, we have the Bible. In Islam, we have the Quran. So these books that tell you all about this religion. In ancient Australia, that was obviously not the case because there was lots of different stories, lots of different tales, and not many of them were written down. The different tribes, the different cultures in ancient Australia told them through oral history. And ancient Greece, again, is a bit similar. There's no single text that describes the religion of ancient Greece. Their religious beliefs and myths referenced dozens of gods and goddesses, mythical creatures, and heroes. So there's no one story. There's lots and lots of different stories that are all kind of connected, kind of like a series of a TV show, and each episode kind of connects to the last episode. There is one book, though, that can help us understand ancient Greek religion. Theology, which is hard to say, basically translates to the birth of the gods, and it's an epic poem written by Hesiod in 700 BCE, and this primary source attempts to summarize the different legends explaining the origins of the gods. So old mate Hesiod has heard all these different stories, and he said, right, I'm going to write all this down into one big story. These legends were passed down not necessarily through books or through written records. They were passed down through generations of families via oral history, so oral traditions, storytelling, before they were being recorded in this artifact of ancient Greece, which means it's not entirely factual. It's safe to say. It's hard for us to confirm that this primary source is 110% reliable. But our understanding of religion and mythology of ancient Greece is based off primary sources such as this poem, and then other works of literature, play scripts, because they would, before they had Marvel superhero movies, they had plays about the gods and goddesses in ancient Greece. Statues that we can still see today, artwork, vases, and religious buildings, temples. So we can learn about ancient Greece and ancient Greece religion through these primary sources, but it's always important to remember that what you're seeing, what you're reading, might not be 100% correct. You need to confirm if it is reliable. Now, bit of background info about some of the top dogs, the big kings and queens of ancient Greece religion. In ancient Greece mythology, there were many gods and goddesses, dozens and dozens of them. There were dozens of unique, obscure gods that you'll never hear of that had like really specific functions, like the goddess of 12:13 p.m. on a Tuesday. But some of the big ones that you probably will hear are Zeus, the king of the gods, the leader of the gods; Hera, his wife; Ares, the god of war; Artemis, goddess of the hunt, so of hunting. So that was obviously important to hunters. So different gods and goddesses were important to different types of people. So if you were a warrior, you were all about Team Ares. If you were a hunter, you were all about Team Artemis. Different cities also found special attachments to certain gods or goddesses. So obviously, if you were in Athens, Athena was probably your best mate. Hephaestus, Apollo, Poseidon, Hades, Hermes, Aphrodite, those were some of the big ones. The different gods and goddesses were believed to have control of important aspects of their lives, from everything such as war to farming, the ocean, love, knowledge, fire, family, even the sun. Apollo was the god of the sun. To honor the gods, the people created temples, statues, and artwork that historians and archaeologists can examine as evidence of the importance of religion and mythology in ancient Greece. If the only thing left from your civilization thousands of years later is this statue, you're going to say, okay, one, as a historian, one, that person was super important. Two, the people thought she was important enough to build a statue of her. And then you can kind of learn about why they built this, who was this person, etc., etc. You just kind of go down the list of questions you have about ancient Greece. The legends of human heroes, such as Heracles, or Hercules is the English translation, Odysseus, other heroes demonstrated to the people of ancient Greece that the gifts and the power given to those who supported the gods and goddesses were amazing. They were fantastical. So hearing about stories like Hercules and Odysseus just confirmed to the ancient Greek people, I should be nice to the gods. I should support, respect, and honor the gods, and then good things will happen to me, just like they happened to Odysseus and Heracles. So, I'm not going to tell you about these specific gods, and I'm certainly not going to tell you about all of them. What I would like you to do is to select one of them, just one of them that maybe you have a bit of background knowledge about, or you think they sound interesting, or you can pick it out of a hat, I don't care, a random number generator. But your lesson activity for today, select one of the gods or goddesses from ancient Greece religion, listed on the previous slide, and then you've got 3 questions here, so 1A, B, and C. Question 1. After doing a bit of independent research yourself, using reliable websites, reliable sources of information, some secondary and primary sources maybe, question 1A is, well, what part of life is this god or goddess responsible for? So what was their responsibility? Many of the gods had multiple responsibilities. So some of these were actually the gods and goddesses of 3 or 4 things. They had many jobs. Question 1B. Identify a primary source and a secondary source connected to this god or goddess. So while you're doing research, record the names or the URLs of some videos or some websites that you could use as a secondary source connected to your god or goddess. So basically, you're just recording the research you're doing. And then while you're doing that research, try and find a picture of a primary source. So it could be a piece of art, a vase, a statue, a temple, anything, really, a primary source, and then attach that into your digital notebook. Then question 1C. What do these sources tell us about life in ancient Greece and how the people viewed this god or goddess? So from your research in this question, these 2 questions, 1C is asking you to look at your primary and secondary source and do a bit of source analysis like you guys practice in your dev task, the Ancient Australia source analysis. The cat at the end of the term is going to be a source analysis on ancient Greece and ancient Australia. So you have 1 Australian and 1 Greek artifact you have to look at. So that's why we're practicing this source analysis stuff now. So 1C, do a bit of source analysis on these 2 sources and tell me, well, 1, what can we learn about the god and goddess? And 2, what can we learn about the people of ancient Greece, life in ancient Greece? What were their lives like? What did they view? What did they feel about this god or goddess? That's all you're doing today, guys. Not too much reading in the textbook, not too much in the slides, hopefully. You're just doing a bit of independent inquiry research. But if you have any questions or concerns, or you can't find any information, about one of these gods or goddesses, you can go to a different one, or you can ask me, and I'll help you find a few resources. Remember, you can use videos as well, so you can go on YouTube and say, YouTube, please help, who was Hermes? Something like that. Yeah, so best of luck, guys. Hope you're well, and cheers.